One of the things we all will agree about life is that before you conquer the external world, you have to master the inner world. We may have all kinds of awesome goals, but we don't achieve most of these goals because the enemy lies not in the outside world, but inside of us. It's not money, it's not people, it's not lack of opportunity that is holding you back. It is you. Legendary surfer Lyle Hamilton said it best. Make sure your worst enemy doesn't live between your own two ears. Self doubt creeps into our system at the weirdest moments, and most of the time, there are times we don't expect it at all. Good evening, friends. Once again, a very warm welcome to Brand 10,000 W Combinator 100 Days to a Leadership Transformation Series. We are at day 8, and I am Aparna G. Kumar, the Global Co-Chairperson for GCPIT, that is a Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, a not-for-profit registered in India and South Africa. The mission of GCPIT is to handhold, empower, and support SMEs globally. Fight the war within to survive outside. We have a very special person to talk to us about this topic today. She is a globally acclaimed industry thought leader, visionary, advisor, principal consultant, and mentor in next-gen technologies, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, data analytics, robotics, Industry 5.0, Internet of Things, blockchain, and smart cities across industry verticals. After working for 20 plus years in the corporate across regions, India, US, and APAC, she is back to her roots to venture onto the next biggest growth market in the world. She brings with her the diverse industry experience of working with IBM, Intel, and SAP, leading and influencing the technology adoption within Singapore government and public sector for building the smart city and smart nation initiatives of the APAC region. As the head of AI Innovation Hub and Partnerships and Ecosystem for R Square Data Labs at Rolls-Royce, she champions the open innovation and has developed two futuristic strategies called the Partnership Innovation Model for Rolls-Royce and the hybrid model of Innovation Hub or the Center of Excellence concept. As a digital transformation and innovation leader, she has played an integral role in helping RR in its digital first culture journey. She is a graduate from Bangalore University in business management and has a computer science diploma e-commerce. She enjoys international travel, cooking, and is in the constant pursuit of spirituality. She is also passionate about women's empowerment and spends her free time working with women and women's organizations. She has been recognized by Thinkers 360 as one of the top 50 global thought leaders and influencers in emerging technologies, AI, blockchain, cloud computing, ecosystem, 5G, and IoT. She is featured in 3 AI list of AI and analytics leaders to watch out for in 2021. She is one of the top 100 global women leaders in women leader achievers of GCPIT this year. As a change maker, she holds a prestigious role of Global Director General of Sustainable Development Goals vertical of GCPIT. She will be working with the world bodies to define strategies and advise executive leadership team for the successful execution of the identified projects within their regions. She is also featured as one of the 150 plus global cloud thought leaders and next generation leaders of 2020 by Wiz Labs. Let me proudly present before you innovation strategist, emerging tech leader, industry thought leader, advisor, mentor, keynote speaker, Thinker 360, top 100 B2B Women 2021, Ms. Rajshri Rao. Over to you, Rajshri.
Oh my God, Aparna, I'm breathless because that was a grand welcome. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that you would be reading all that out, but thank you. That is like you made my Monday, huh? Reminding me, hey, you have a lot of responsibility to shoulder.
You are amazing. You are amazing.
Honestly, thank
I couldn't skip anything from that intro.
So, that's incredible. But thank you for GCPIT for organizing such a wonderful sessions, and I'm humbled and I'm so proud to being part of the GCPIT family. I have no words to describe that. With that, I'll get started. Like I just said, that today I'm not the slides person. I rather speak from my heart, and we'll have more open conversation. And I choose this topic very specifically, fight within to win outside, simply because today we are in the times where everyone, whether we like it or not, where though you might be appearing very strong outside, you are fighting your own demons within yourself. And I decided this is one of the most important topic that we all should address and open up and speak out, so that you can get rid of the demon in some capacity and evolve from transform and evolve from outside. And personally, for myself, right, I have journeyed some of these challenges individually. And I know how much it is so important to speaking up, right? How do you handle something that you do not understand? Because see, what you face within, right, it's a mental, we say mental health again is a very vague term, but what you are actually fighting and you want to sometimes try to catch it is the mind. It's your mind. And when you say where is the mind, you don't know. And something is always and constantly speaking within us, and it's telling so many things. 90% of the time it actually shows the downside of life rather than the upside of life. And the first thing that comes about is the fear. And the fear is not about, okay, what is going to happen to me, but the fear is about multiple things. It is about, oh my God, am I going to even, be safe in my job? Am I going to fall sick? Am I going to lose some opportunities? Am I going to lose money? How am I going to pay my bills? I don't know how to take care of my family, my kids. There's too many things that is actually bothering you. The fear is driving you crazy. I'm sure that each one of us at some point in time, whether at whatever times of the day, we get into that mind space, and the mind starts dwelling on these things. And the reason why I wanted to share these things with you is because you need to understand, how do you recognize that pattern? And most important is, you need to be aware when this happens to you. And only when you are aware, you will be able to control dwelling in that topic and trying to get out. So I'll tell you how I do personally handle some of these challenges, and we can share through, and I like to share some of these real time stories, and then we can understand how do we fight this together. See, mind is a very dicey thing, it's always deceitful. And being in spiritual, this is something that I've personally learned. One most important thing is, never let your mind dwell on whether it's an object, whether it's a topic which is actually going to bring you downward. See, the first thing that the mind does is, it'll always show you the downside of life. It is never going to show you what is upside of life. And I'm sure today in this pandemic, you might ask me one very important question, and that is, what is the upside of pandemic? People are dying. There is, like, the hospitals are crowded. There are no beds available. There's no oxygen available. The whole world has come to a standstill. And how can you say that, the mind has to show you upside? But let me tell you something very important, a lesson that we are taught always in spirituality, at least, and in life lessons also. Everything happens for good alone. What is the good is something that we cannot see at this moment in time, neither can we understand why is this happening. If you go back in time, we have also experienced the swine flu to SARS, and different kind of epidemics. We have fought the world war. We have all come, we have all gone past that and come. And like today, I also believe pandemic is the World War III, okay? Because today everybody's trying to come up with a cure, a vaccine, and nobody knows what is causing this. Yeah, we can associate with lot of different things, but actually today we don't know where, why, how. No, we don't know. Everybody's trying to research. Yes, we will find answers, but the damage, the collateral damage has already happened. But let me go back in time. An example would be the World War II. World War II happened, but there was, yes, destruction that went on in the world, but then came about a huge transformation. And that was the beginning of an industrial revolution. But this, every time this something happens, there is something good is going to come about as well. See, collateral damage always happens, but that is how the universe is being programmed. And we have to evolve through that. And the only people who can survive through all of this is one who can fight and stand up. The fight is not external fight, the fight is within. How do you look at life? How do you see things? How do you then motivate yourself every single day to transform from outside? Because if you're not motivated internally, how are you going to do something, in this world? How are you even going to be productive at work? And how are you going to face your children? How can you keep them motivated? Or even your sick parents, or even you might be feeling sick. Many a time what happens during these kind of times is that you are not even sick, you might be hale and hearty, but your mind just having a sympathetic reaction, it will draw sickness on itself, and then you'll tend to feel sick as well. And I'm seeing a lot of people day in and day out going through this challenging times. They are feeling sick for no rhyme or reason, and it's a very sad state. And every single day I try to motivate people, giving them different stories, different perspectives. And one thing that I keep drilling back again and again, which my preceptor has done to me for many years, saying that no matter what happens, always remember one very important lesson, that everything is happening for the good alone. Today you might say, oh yeah, it's, I mean, I've said this, I've reacted like that. What I've said to him many a time, oh, it's easy said than done. It's about when you go through it, it's very difficult to live those lessons. But how do you live? I'll tell you some of the simple things that I do when I feel completely down. And one very important thing to do is, first thing that you have to do is, when you're actually going down, you recognize your mind, your feelings, that it's not leading you to a healthy state of mind. The most important thing to do is distract your mind. And how do you distract your mind? Distracting your mind is very simple thing. See, each one of us love doing something different. I'm just going to pick Santosh sir here. He has his beautiful daughter, adorable daughter. What's the biggest distraction? Just going and playing with her. And in your case, it could be, you would love to watch a movie. Like, I'm a movie. My way of distraction is, I would just go and watch something that's going to completely take my mind off the thought of feeling negative, the thought of feeling depressed, the thought of feeling fear, whatever that it's trying to give, anything that is not a positive thought, you have to distract your mind immediately and focus your mind in something that you love the most. It could be anything. You want to just take a break and go cook. You want to just go for a walk. You want to just go and do something that you love most, or even just, going and seeing some of your memories, which is going to make you smile, laugh at that moment in time. That's the only way you can distract. I'm not joking here, because this has worked for me. And every time I feel, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling out, the one thing that I would do is watch something that is quite motivational. It could be even a movie. It could be just an example, Hidden Figures, how all these women, the great women who sent a man to the space. It's quite inspiring, and like, oh yeah, I want to do something. Or go write down, experience your feelings and write something that's going to impact you much later, or you can give that lesson to somebody else. So these are the little things that you have to do. Or read. The other thing that I do end up doing is, I might not be reading technology, I'll go into reading about scriptures. I have a lot of dime a dozen books at me. I'll just pick one of them and read. And that helps me to release that stress, release that way of the mind dwelling. And I'll tell you a very beautiful lesson which I have learned from Bhagavad Gita is, and Lord Sri Krishna has said in that very beautifully, you are your own best friend and you are your own worst enemy. The choice is up to you whether you want to rise or fall down, but only with self effort can you rise above. Please remember, it's your mind within. Nobody can walk that for you. Nobody can do anything except you alone. So what you can do is, when you understand this is happening, get out of that. Don't dwell on that thought. Do not dwell on that subject. You have to immediately distract, because the moment you dwell, you even allow your mind even for a moment to dwell on that subject, it's going to drag you down in no time. And that's very dangerous. And you become remorse, you become bitter, you become, whatever that feelings could be. Have you ever observed your mind? You need to learn to observe your mind. And that's why we say this mental health. What is mental health meaning? It's how do you keep your mind state healthy? Healthy, like your body has to be healthy, fit and fine, strong. Similarly, the most important organ which you nobody knows where the mind is. It's quite incredible because you just don't know where and how to catch it. But there's something that's going talking to you dime a dozen non-stop nonsense. But if you can channel your mind for doing something fantastic, I'm telling you, that's the best thing you can achieve. But for doing that, you have to train your mind. And the training, one of the first step is this. So when you have those thoughts, do something that's going to make you feel very good. It could be watching something very funny. Maybe some people love playing with dogs. I'm just throwing all sorts of things which you might like doing, but do that at that moment in time. Do not dwell on that thought. That is the first way to avoid that pitfall. That's the danger zone, because after that, every thought of yours, if you watch, is going to be, leading you to the downward trend. And never let that happen. And that's very destructive. And then a person cannot get out of that state. And also, not just that, we also will associate today. If you look at, oh, somebody's not behaving nicely with me, oh, this person did this to me, my life is bad because this happened to me in my past. And one of the things that we hold on to is a lot of those events in our life which we have never learned to let go. We hold on, we fight to hold on, and we never learn to let go things in our life. And then what happens, that bitter memories, that sad memories, all that is, when you least expect it, your mind will throw from nowhere. I, have you ever observed, you have to pay attention, you have to become a witness to your own thoughts. And when you witness it, you'll understand how to slowly train your mind and channel it towards helping you to do something phenomenal, to give you ideas, to show you the upside of life. And the next most important thing that, again, I know today a lot of people do yoga, meditation. And one most important thing is you can meditate for some time, calm, wake up early in the morning or whatever the time fits you, but morning hours are the best for meditation. When you wake up and sit in that silence, yeah, I'll tell you, it's not easy meditating because the thing is the mind's again talking too much. But at least when you sit in that serene hours, peaceful, just internalize, calm with yourself, peace with yourself, that way you will again train it. But I'm not saying all these things is possible in one go. You have to practice, you have to train yourself. Even if you spend that 15 minutes in your day, just in the morning hours, sitting calm in a very peaceful manner, and in that serene state, you will be able to channel all that energy which is required for you to go through the day. And that's extremely important. And then what you should do, you also have to practice going for a walk. It could be 30 minutes walk, even you do yoga, because that's giving you the time, you're making your body fit. And please remember, all these things has to be done over a period of time. You cannot say, I did this today, tomorrow I have not done, day after tomorrow I did it. When you don't follow a consistent approach or a disciplined method, then you cannot get over that. So what happens is you become weak. The mind overpowers you. The mind shouldn't guide you. You should guide the mind. So who is guiding whom? That you need to understand. Do not let your mind tell you what you have to do. You need to be in control and driving your chariot and telling the mind what it is supposed to do. So that is the training that you have to do it for yourself. And these things come over a period of time. It is not easy, but I'm not saying it's not possible. You can achieve it, but with practice, with discipline, it's possible. Make it very fun, make it enjoyable. Don't make anything which feels like, oh, it's you have to put too much of effort. You don't have to do that. It's in a very simple and disciplined approach, very little, every day you give the time to yourself. It's like the me time, whether you love reading that little, the book, the favorite book of yours, or something that you love to do the most, even nurturing plants, going and watering the plants, it's very soothing. So you have to inculcate these things in your daily life. And the next very important thing is, reduce the number of choices you have to make in your life. Sometimes when you have too many choices, I'll give you a very stupid and simple example. As women, we love clothes, we love jewelry, we might have too many things, and then you'll wonder, oh, today what am I supposed to wear for this talk, which can I wear, and you're thinking, you're wasting so much more time because you have too many to choose from. So reduce, you say, okay, in this four I want to pick one. So reduce the number of choices. Don't allow your mind to stress and dwell on something for too long. And that is something that you have to avoid. And most important, sometimes, when situations are not great, stop focusing on the end goal. Do not focus on that. You have to have a goal, you need a vision, everything is fine, but don't not focus. But what you need to focus, that you are progressing. Even if you're going slow, it's fine, but you have to go. You have to do. You can't stop. One thing you need to be extremely careful is, please don't stop. Even if your progress is, in small steps, that is still fine. That's okay. But you're going. That's what is more important. It's not about the lofty goals. It can be small milestones that you achieve, little, little, little. Today you might feel, oh, I don't know what my job is. I don't know what am I doing. It's meaningless. But let me tell you, when many years from now, you will have a story to tell, your future generation, your kids, your grandchildren, whoever, right, the whole world rather. And you'll say how you walk this path, how you have been able to overcome this situation in life and be able to shine through that. That is very important. Today the world needs leaders. Today the world needs people who can show what to do next, and in a very meaningful manner. And most important is, be compassionate with everybody, kind. Today if you look at the people's behavior also changed. Why? Because they are also going through a lot of challenges in their own way, and so the reactions are weird. Sometimes people just flare up for no rhyme or reason. Sometimes people are irritant, lot of things. So you be compassionate. One of the most important lessons that I've learned from my preceptor, he always keeps telling all his students is this: be your good self. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't greet you, why don't you greet? We don't need to have ego. You just need to be nice, that loving being. When you are loving from within, that's the transformation I'm talking about. When you win yourself, when you're in love with yourself, you can see the world in that same eyes. You will be able to love everybody, everything. Even in this painful state, you will still experience that bliss. So the winning the war within is so important, so that you can survive and fight and show what to be in the world. So, and it's very easy to win outside then. Why? Because we are not judging anybody, we are not expecting anything from anyone. You don't have to. And there's no comparison. Please remember, another thing that I've always seen people feeling bad or small: oh, somebody has more. Oh, you start comparing. Oh, he did great, I didn't do this, I should have been better. We're always comparing ourselves to someone else. Stop comparing. Please remember, in this entire forum, in like GCPIT, the whole the fraternity, everybody is unique in their capability. You are your individual self. You are the best that is there. There is nobody like you, and that is the confidence and the conviction that you need to have. And once you have that, there is no shaking. We are here to learn from each other. See, I don't know everything, I can't even know everything. Learning is a journey. You learn till the time you take your last breath. You continue learning. So nobody can learn everything. Knowledge is powerful, and you invest in studying, learning, building all that. And we are here to share knowledge, because what do you know, you give me, I learn something from that. What I know, I share. And that's how we keep evolving. So there's nothing to be bothered about. You don't have to compare about. See, please remember, most important is you have to accept who you are, the beautiful you. Understand you're beautiful in your own way. So when you love yourself, when you accept yourself, you've already won the battle within. And then you're not going to feel depressed, sad, whatever situations. And please remember one thing, whatever that might be, whatever the difficulties that might be, fight it out. There's a very beautiful saying, the what drives everything is fear in this world. So how do you look at fear? One is you forget everything and run, as a standard classic, the example, or you face everything and rise. So what do you want to do is a choice that you have, and make the choice, and there's nothing to fear. Worst come worst, what happens? I'll tell you once, my own journey. When I was in Singapore, there's something very strange happened, and sort of out of the blue, I lost my job. And just before that, some maybe a year back, one of the lessons which my preceptor was teaching is, we are all going through with fear. And I was telling him, look, I'm committed because I have my bills to pay. I have to go through the job. I have to be in corporate. What happens? I'm bound. I need to get out of, someday I want to be free. But and he said, what is driving you with that is the fear. Fear for what? If I lose my job, how am I going to pay my bills? What happens to the family I'm supporting? Those things come about. And let me tell you, the facing that fear was very important. And I actually lost job. And when that situation happened, I didn't know how to react, because you're in a state of shock. You go through that. But you know what? Going through that journey, made me understand there's nothing to fear, because something else will work out. So you will be able to fight out, because every human being has an instinct of that fighting spirit within us. And we are the born fighters. We are the warriors. We forget that we have that instinct in us, and then we fear. So fear is one of the most important quality which you have to destroy, because that is what will not let you rise. It will not allow you to do certain things in life, because we fear what happens if I lose. It doesn't matter. Then when you fail is when you'll understand what it is to succeed. So why fear failure? It's amazing things that I have feared in my life. When I faced head on, I'm telling you, and that is when you achieve freedom from fear, and you become fearless. And after that, there's nothing to fear in your life, because you've already seen the worst. So ask yourself, whenever a question of fear comes within you, ask yourself this thing: what is the worst that can happen to me? I'm going to be jobless. I'm not going to have money. You mean then, is it the end of the world? Am I not capable? Am I not qualified? Am I not educated? I have everything in me. Don't I have the strength? I have everything in me. Can I not do something else? And whenever anything happens, and this is something I keep telling myself too constantly, everything happens for the good alone. And when you see this, you will understand, you will experience. When you go through the journey, is when you will realize there is nothing to fear in this world. It's okay. This shall pass too. It's just a learning curve in your life. It's very important. And sometimes, and also see, remember today, and I was recently watching a very interesting documentary. And in that, I watched, it's you probably I might share the link. It's amazing. And I was watching about how the children, the it's talking about how some of the children have to walk the most dangerous path to go to the school. So this is in the Indian side of Ladakh. So there is this Zanskar. There's a village in which is about 4,000 feet above Himalayan mountain, and they don't have access to go to that school in Leh. So these kids have to walk 100 kilometers in the freezing, minus degree Celsius. They have to walk through that treacherous and the most dangerous path to reach their school. And when they were asked, what is it? They're 10-year-old and 12-year-old. When asked this boy, the boy said, I want to become a pilot. I want to fly. I want to be able to fly. And this girl, when asked, what is your ambition? I want to become doctor. I want to serve the world. That was so profound. But they're willing to risk their life to, want to get education. And today, when you see, oh my God, we have everything. We have to be grateful for our life. So there are a lot of people with so much difficulties, and yet they are, doing all that so that they could get educated, and they have to walk for 3 whole days. I'll share that link. You must go see it. It's amazing. And then they have to once they reach a destination, after that 100 kilometers, they will be picked up and they have to go on road for another 60 kilometers. And then the kids live in that monastery, that's school. They have dormitory, and they lived there for like 9.5 months, and they study. And the passion to study was so intense. And when they don't have, they're willing to go that extra mile, go through all the challenging times to get educated. And then I ask myself, isn't my life much better? So most important is, think about, whenever your mind says, oh, how bad your life is and all, ask, write down the 5 things or 3 things that you are grateful for in your life. And when we do this, what is that I'm grateful for today in my life? And then you will understand that there are a lot more people who don't even have that what you have. We don't, you get 3 square meal a day, you have good clothes to wear, you have a shelter. But please remember, a lot of people in this world don't even have the basic necessities. So when you see that, then you'll feel better. Oh my God, my life is much better, my life is more beautiful, I should be very happy for who I am. And that's what you need to remind yourself every single day, and be very thankful about what your life has offered to you. You need that acceptance. But please remember, when you're trying to seek something, you're never going to be happy, because we're constantly wanting something better. But you have to ask yourself this question: where are you trying to find happiness? Are you going to find happiness if you get $1 million? Are you happy? No. Then your desire is going to increase. Then you want to say, I want to become $1 billion organization, I want to earn $1 billion. And is it still going to make you happy? No. Even when you achieve that $1 billion, you're still not going to feel happy, because your goals are getting bigger and bigger. So to find happiness within at that moment in time is the most important thing. It's not whether in transient or non intransient things that you will get happiness. Happiness is to feel, acceptance within yourself. Feeling loved within yourself is the most important aspect. And then one of the, again, a very basic, I think, I'm sure everybody knows this, you need to get a good sleep every day. Make sure you're sleeping that well, whether it is 6 hours, 5 hours, whatever the time that you have to, and follow that rhythm. If you go to bed every night at 10 o'clock, please stick to that time. Don't have that the time, one day you go at 10 o'clock, one day you go at 11 o'clock. And it's same with eating, healthy eating. If you have breakfast every day at a certain time, example, if it's at 9 a.m., please stick to the timing, because this is the kind of discipline that will also make your internal well-being easier. The mental health also is associated with the kind of food you do, the disciplined approach, the things that you do matters a lot. So this is the investment. You have to do it for yourself. It's not that you're doing it for someone else. Please remember this. And once you do that, then you'll find that your life will become effortless, in the sense everything will become just like you're sleepwalking that. But initially you have to put a lot of efforts to become disciplined, because one thing that we don't have and we don't do or we don't follow is to being disciplined. I'm telling you, one of the things my preceptor will say, even today, even after 12 plus years, it sometimes becomes really challenging that there are days when, like, I don't want to get up from my bed. I don't want to do this. That state comes, but you have to overcome that. How do you overcome that? Again, there's another easy way out: is do that which your mind tells that you can't do. You have to exactly do opposite of what your mind wants you to do. If your mind says go sleep for 10 more minutes, please wake up. If your mind says no, you don't, today you're feeling you don't want to read a book, please read a book. And that is the one way to overcome your mind. Because never let your mind take over you. You need to control your mind. And this is something I keep repeating this to everybody. I'm saying this, but it's not easy. But again, I'm saying it's possible if you make that little extra effort. That just that little extra, that extra is what you need to have. And when you have that little extra effort within yourself, you will become the master of your destiny. Let me tell you, you will be able to achieve anything that you set your goal onto, your vision onto. It's possible. And then, most important thing, don't overthink. Again, a human nature is that we think too much. We think about, oh, what's going to happen? Can I do this? Can I do that? Oh my God. You're just like, you stress yourself so much by your overthinking. Do not overthink, but think in a progressive way, in the sense where you will be, okay, tomorrow we say, okay, today example, oh, we have to do the we're the sustainable development goals, we have to strategize. How does the future become, what happens? So you're thinking constructively is fine, but overthinking is something which you don't have control over. You're thinking, oh, what happens, how do I get to, how do I win? Those are the kind of things you don't have to. But think progressively, think something that you can build, come up with answers, come up with ideas, come up with solutions that you can help the world with today. See, today, one of the things that people don't know, and yet every business, every organization is struggling to understand what happens when the everything opens up post pandemic. Because even to build the business, people today have a challenge with the funds. Why? Because the business has come to a standstill. So today we need to think out of the box. We have to come up with solutions. We have to find ways to get back on our toes. An example, yesterday I was watching a very interesting, it's quite scary though, but I don't mean to scare, but that's a reality. But that now we have to find solution. World Economic Forums has said that one out of around 4 billion people, around roughly 3.6 billion people who have job, of which 1.6 billion people have lost job. And that's a scary number. But how do we get back to normal? How do we now employ all these people? What is the kind of business opportunity that we can create? Now, this is a progressive thinking. And yes, everybody will come up with some ideas somewhere, some things can be done. And that is what you have to think. How are you going to be a value add in this world, to yourself, to the world? How are we going to help each other succeed in our own way? Again, success depends, I shouldn't be using the word success, but success depends on individual. To some, it means money. To some, it means power. To some, it means position, fame, name, you name it. But to me, success has always meant striving for excelling in whatever I do. When you excel in that which you do, success will follow automatically when it has to. So don't run behind success, and see how you can help all your fellow people around in making this world a better place. And that's what you have to wake up with every single morning, and then make it possible. So by winning yourself within, you will win this world. So with that, I shall open up for questions and anything that you would like to share.
Thank you so much, Rashi. That was an amazing session. I have been following your social media posts, and I always wanted to listen to you talk about spirituality for a long time. As you said, today's world need exceptional leaders, and we have to teach people to be compassionate, because we don't know what battles they are going through every day. And when we interact with people, we can see that they get angry very fast, they get irritated, and we don't even understand why they are getting angry most of the time. I think this is a time when we should need a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, a lot of love, and a lot of compassion.
Absolutely. See, anger is one of the most important thing that you need to. To be very honest, I've been a very angry person myself, and I can talk about it. Anger is a self-destruction. And when I came into spiritual, one of the things that my preceptor would do, things that would get me very angry, is the object he would keep putting in front of me. You know why? Because that which you think is your cause of your pain, misery, you have to face it head on. Until you don't face that, you will never be able to overcome. So don't be afraid to face your fears. That's what I keep saying, and if anger is your challenge and what makes you angry, that object is something that you have to overcome, and that is what is winning. The fight is within, and that fight, the fight that you are doing within, that battle internally, is something that you have to win. We might hate people, we might not like so many things, we might believe, oh, this person did bad to me, but face that, let go of it. Because why do you want to keep it with you and for the rest of your life live in misery? Let go, let that feeling out of your system. See, you're not forgiving because you're being great, and that's why they say, forgiveness is godliness. The reason is because when you forgive, you are in peace with yourself. You have broken out of that something that has been holding you for years. So these are the little things we don't understand, and that's why I keep saying, watch yourself, witness yourself, your thoughts. It's very important. Until you don't win, you can't help the world. If you're if you're sick, forget about, it's not the physical sickness, right? If you're mentally or internally, see, people might not talk about it today because they'll think, oh, I'm in such a great position, but how can I say that I'm going through this? It's nothing wrong in addressing your challenges. Everybody, we are all humans, we go through it. And the only thing is, you need to know how to get over it. That's the most important thing. It doesn't mean just because you're some big person you can't. I'll tell you a very beautiful leadership lesson and story. This is about JP Morgan. I was learning about his life. How did this JP Morgan get created? And when I went, I learned about him. It was very inspiring. And you know what I learned in that? So at a point in time, JP Morgan establishes this company, and he loves his wife very dearly, and she dies. And in that state, he gets very angry and upset. But you know what he does? He uses that strength to making JP Morgan what it is. He works day and night so hard. And that's another very important lesson which my preceptor has taught is, channel that which you think, your anger, towards achieving something spectacular in this world. Don't channel it in destroying yourself. Self-destruction is a dangerous thing. By becoming depressive, by feeling sympathy, don't seek sympathy. Because you know what, the moment you become sympathetic, you're trying to feel, oh, this happened to me, and then we become a martyr in life. Oh yeah, I'm the bad one, I'm the worst one. Stop doing that. You're beautiful, you're the best. You need to believe in yourself the most. That is the most important thing. Love yourself. You're beautiful. Yeah, we all have flaws, but overcome that.
Right. And gratitude, you spoke about gratitude. Most of the time we see things that we don't have, right? And we forget what we have. And gratitude and success go hand in hand, which time people don't realize. We have a question here from Bonia. How to choose a correct option in life or career when all of them are equally good?
Oh, that's a very interesting one. Oh, amazing. Just follow your heart. I listen to my heart. The first thing that comes in your heart, just go with it. But this is a very interesting thing that you should try practicing. Which again, it's helped me a lot as well. I don't anything after that first thought that comes is your mind. Okay, the moment you start, oh, what do I choose? Oh, is this good? This is good. This is good. This is good. But go with your heart. Your heart will always guide you the right path. It will give you the right answer, that which you love the most, that which is good for you, and you will be able to pick that right thing, even when everything is good. And in that, it will pick the best. So always follow your heart, and that's one answer I will always give you. Where it doesn't mean that you should not use your logical mind. See, mind is only there to take you in the right direction and think, evaluate certain things, find answers, problem solve, all that. But your heart will always guide you that path that is meant for you and you alone. So follow that path, but always listen to your heart, never to your mind.
I think that was an amazing answer. Bonia, I hope you're happy. Anybody else have any questions? Please, you can unmute and ask, or you can put in the chat as well. Christina, I'm sure you have a question. Yes. You're on mute. Unmute yourself. Christina, you are muted. Unmute. Christina, can you hear me? Christina?
She's not. Hello, kindly unmute.
Christina.
Oh my God, finally she got.
Yes.
Just want to say thank you so much. It was an excellent session. Really enjoyed it. And I was saying that sometimes people are very much morning people or evening people. And I think routine is a big part to play in how we manage that discipline. Or you could be like a Parnan Santosh and just never sleep at all. And so I'm just curious to know, what are your hacks and your go-tos that you do in the morning and in the evening that help you just be grounded and ready to face everything that you do?
You mean to say whether you're a morning person or I'm just trying to understand the question better.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying some people are, some people are both. I'm just wondering, do you have any morning hacks or evening hacks that are particular great goes to that work really well for you?
Okay. I'll give you my own perspective, but I'll tell you how do you deal with being a morning and an evening person as well, because today work life has changed, and that's another element which I'll touch upon that. One thing we follow, because I live with my preceptor, a strict regime is followed, the discipline aspect, which is what is a practice that we do to overcome the challenges we have. You have to wake up every day at a certain time. Many a time I fail, but you don't stop trying. I'm not joking on this. Our timing to wake up is 4 a.m. I'm a pretty much a morning person. And one thing my preceptor was taught, you have to wake up in the morning, you go do your exercise. And then we eat our breakfast around 6:40 a.m. That's the time. You have to be at the table at 6:40, not at least 5 minutes earlier to that. And if you're late, you're going to get a peace of mind, because that's what it's your mind will always make you not go on time. I'm telling you, this one it's always going to put obstacle in not letting you follow the routine, but you have to make an effort. And then what happens is then we do all our chores, and so you keep yourself active. But my preceptor has always taught, you can take a 30 minutes break in the afternoon, wherever you are, doesn't matter. You take your power nap, and that will help you rejuvenate the time, because you if you're waking up early, you tend to feel a little sleepy in the afternoon after lunch. So take the 30-minute break, and then you recover yourself, and that's quite effective. And then you go to bed early, so you don't stay up late, because we do like 4 to 9 p.m. And actually it's very strict that you go to bed at 9 at least, or max by 10, not more than that. But when you're working, and then this is where the things gets messier, right? And some people have to be on calls in the evening, and their life goes till night. So my preceptor says something very interesting. So if you're following a routine, say example, you have to wake up at a certain hour, and then you have to continue being in, and then you keep that rhythm on, which means if you're then waking up at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, then you stick with that rhythm of eating at that time or sleeping at a particular time, and not letting oversleep over the weekend, saying that, oh, you know what, one of the biggest mistakes we do is, I need to get my sleep. I'm catching up on the sleep. There is nothing like catching up. So you have to, even on your weekends, you need to follow that rhythm. And if you don't follow and you break that rhythm, then there is a problem. And I'm not
Yeah.
joking. Recently I ended up having a flu and a cold. Okay, 2 weeks, and it was quite terrible. And I've not fallen sick in a long time. It's not COVID though, but some virus. Given that there's a lot of nonsense that's happening, I. I'm not, I'm humanly it was next to impossible for me to wake up at 4 a.m. I couldn't wake up at all. And even today, for last 3 weeks, I've been waking up exactly like 6. But as I kept recovering, now you have to, the way to bring yourself back is, like this morning I was able to wake up half an hour earlier than what I was waking up the previous day, and I did my meditation for that half an hour. And then my walking is now after my breakfast. Usually my walking has been before breakfast, but I couldn't walk for the last 2 weeks. But you have to get back. You know what, it's very easy to lose that track, but very difficult to get back on track. See, the fall is very easy, but climbing upwards is the most difficult one. So your any good qualities also, it's very to lose, but to gain that is the most difficult one. So being up there and maintaining that is a challenge. But when you do your practice for years, it becomes effortless after a point. And this is what we are taught in spirituality. Spirituality is nothing but to telling you, you have to overcome your body and mind and understand that being that beautiful self of who you truly are.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. I think it will be very difficult for both of us, right? Otherwise, I will never meet Christina. Anyway, thank you so much. I think, do we have any more questions? Anybody else would like to unmute and ask? Abir,
Years just coming on, I think.
I can see that. Abir.
Yeah.
Abir,
So no, this is great because I'm going to be checking in. So like I know, like I'm not there yet either, but I know routine is important, and so I've now actually collated my sheets, and it's broken down into half-hour
Wow.
slots because I'm quite out of my way of meditating, and I want to get back into it, and it's so crucial. But I've been deep breathing a lot. I find that helps a lot. Deep breathing,
Yes.
slow the mind down. Yeah.
Even I did that before this
All
session.
right, that's you, Babi.
Abir,
Okay, I need to run. Have a super day. Catch y'all tomorrow. Thank you.
thank you so much for joining. Abir, do you have any questions? Anybody has any questions? Please unmute yourself. I don't think we have any questions, right? Yeah, thank you so much. I think everybody would have really enjoyed this session and would think about whatever you said after this session is over and they go back to their daily routines. A request to our audience, if you liked Rajshree's session, please go to GCPID's Facebook page and post your positive feedback there.
Absolutely. Not just that, you're more than happy to even connect with me and ask any questions that you might have. Because many a time it's fine. You don't have to speak in a personal in an open forum.
Right.
You can always write to me a personal note. Very happy to share any insights, anything that you have. Always there to talk. And most important is speak up. That's very important in today's day and time, because everybody's trying to, live in that cocoon and the shell and don't get into that groove, because that's not healthy in the current times. So you need to get out of that, do whatever's that's best works out for you, and don't force yourself to anything. You can achieve gradually, but the one most important thing I always keep saying, everybody, don't stop. That stopping is dangerous, but don't stop and don't give up on anything. And that will be my 2 cents that I will definitely share. And again, a belief that everything happens for good, and fight everything and rise above.
Thank you so much. And looking forward to have more sessions from you. As promised, we need a lot of leadership. We have discussed more, right?
Absolutely.
Sessions.
Very, very happy to do that, Aparna, and thank you so much for the opportunity. And Santosh, really, it's wonderful. Thank you for GCPIT for this wonderful opportunity, an amazing team of folks across globe. Looking forward to many more sessions with you all. Thank you.
And dear audience, thank you so much for joining on behalf of GCPIT. I thank you all. And if you want to connect to Ms. Rajshree, you can go to our website as well. You can go to gcpit.org and you have an option to connect her through mail. And see you tomorrow. We have another global leader joining us from Bangladesh, Ms. Achia Nila, who is going to tell us how to have a digital transformation for your business during pandemic. See you all tomorrow. Till then, this is Aparna Kumar signing off. Stay safe. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, whichever part of the world you are joining from. And Rajshree, anything more to add as a closing remark?
Sorry?
Would you like to add something as a closing remark?
A closing remark, now that there's just a few minutes, I'll actually give you a very quick story, to add to the point of, I was supposed to cover, which I didn't cover, but I'll give you a very quick story on this. This is very interesting. There's a king and a prime minister, and this prime minister of this king will always say, everything happens for the good. And one day the king cut his finger. One of his body part was cut, and the prime minister said, "Oh, everything is happening for good." And the king got very angry and threw him in a prison. So what happened is, and even to that, the minister was telling everything is happening for good alone. So the king goes for a hunting session, And while he was hunting in the jungle, the tribal group catches hold of this king and goes, takes to this tribe chief. And they were supposed to, they wanted to, they want to slaughter some animal as an offering to the deity. And they found this king and they said, we want to slaughter this king and offer as him as a, offering to the deity, the tribal deity. And suddenly the tribe chief sees a cut on the king's body. And he says, no, we can't offer this offering because it's not pure. According, the cut is a quality of impurity. And so he somehow escaped his death. So then he understood his minister's words that everything happens for the good alone. So he comes back and orders his minister to be released. And then the king asks a very interesting question. I understand that this cut had helped me save my life today, but you were living in the prison. So how do you justify that, saying everything is happening for the good alone? And to which the minister says, imagine if I was out, not in the prison, I would have gone with you to the jungle for the hunt. And because you had a cut, they would have left you. But since I did not have a cut, they would have made me the offering to the deity. So my life is saved. So being in the prison saved my life. So even in the worst situation, everything is happening for the good alone. It's just that we can't see at that time. So with that, I wanted to go back and think on this story. Whenever you feel, why is this bad happening to me? Remember this story and you'll understand that there is something good to come in your life. We don't know at that moment in time.
Right. That was an awesome story to end with. Perfect. So thank you so much, Rashi, once again. Thank you, dear audience, for joining us today. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Yep.
Good night and stay safe.
Thank you, and have a very good day too. Bye-bye.